Hello all, welcome to this video where we will be discussing about foodborne diseases that are caused by viruses. Now viruses, like you all know, need a living cell to grow. So they can't grow in the food item, but they can be present as a contamination because it can enter the food through fecal matter which was present during the growth of that particular food item or during the harvest of that fruit or vegetable or even in the irrigation water. If the virus was there, it can reach the food. The other way viruses can come in contact with food is if the food is being handled by an infected person, a person whose personal hygiene is not good and they have the viral infection. Through them, when they handle the food that we eat, the food can come in contact with the virus. Now, the most frequently reported foodborne viral infections, if we see, are viral gastroenteritis and hepatitis A. Generally, we have seen that the viral foodborne infections are caused by viruses that are non-enveloped. That is, they don't have an envelope, they just have the genome, which is usually a single-stranded RNA, and that genome is covered with the protein capsid. These viruses are very hardy, they're very resistant, and they are able to survive very well and for a long period of time in the environment. When I say environment, it includes the kitchen surfaces, the locker handles, the hands of the people who are working over there, any kind of dried fecal matter, dried fluids which are present, the hotel carpets. We can see that there have been instances where the virus stays on for a long period of time. And the two major characteristics which pose a problem to us are, these viruses are usually acid stable, so we need to apply, if we are trying to clean that particular surface or floor with an acid, we need to apply the acid and keep it for a very long time. Not just that, we may need to use additional chemicals like detergents or any other kind of chemical cleaning agents. The second thing is that these viruses, they, even though they do not grow, they remain infectious even after refrigeration of the food. So even after the food has been kept inside the fridge at low temperature, the viruses don't die. And if you do not heat that food before eating it and the viruses are present there, those viruses can definitely enter your body and cause the infection. So the main virus which causes viral gastroenteritis is the Norwalk-like virus, abbreviated as NLV, or also called as the norovirus. Now, this virus belongs to the family Calliciviridae, which also has viruses like Saporovirus. And NLV, that's Norwalk-like virus, along with rotavirus and astrovirus, cause the majority of viral gastroenteritis. In fact, the infection is very mild, and that's the reason most cases are not even reported. But generally, it is seen that the norovirus is a common reason for viral gastroenteritis around the world. In fact, the name itself is derived from an outbreak that was observed in Ohio, in Norwalk, Ohio, in 1968. And it's from there that they had named it as Norwalk-like virus, which is now known as norovirus. This is also known as a winter vomiting bug. In fact, this infection has started doing the rounds as I speak in England and many other countries. And in the January of 2023, there was even an outbreak in the Indian state of Kerala. So across the world, when we see the occurrence, it is most commonly present in the months of November to April, and the cases are not so common in India, but worldwide norovirus causes 1/5 of the cases of acute gastroenteritis. And when we say acute gastroenteritis, which is marked by diarrhea and vomiting. So we'll come to the symptoms a little later, but what we need to know is that norovirus, especially in countries like US and UK, is one of the most common causes of viral gastroenteritis. When we see the structure of this virus, it belongs to Calliciviridae group, like I said earlier, Calliciviridae family, which is characterized by a very small structure. So even this virus is having a diameter of only 27 to 32 nanometers, and it is non-enveloped, which means it is only having a capsid enclosing the genome, a protein capsid. The genome is single-stranded RNA, positive sense single-stranded RNA genome, which has a size of 7.4 to 7.7 kilobase pairs. The structure of the virus is round, but recent research shows that it has got dynamic shape-shifting ability as well. Now, this virus is usually associated with foods which are fresh in nature. So, fresh foods like raspberries or salads like coleslaw, green salads, potato salads, even fresh cut fruits are very, very commonly associated with this virus. The other food which is associated with the virus is clams and oysters. So, when the clams and oysters or any other kind of seafood is served raw or is not sufficiently steamed, then again it becomes a food that is that has chances of carrying the virus. And water is one of the most common source of any foodborne infection, because the water could come from municipal supplies or from the well. It could be even recreational water from the lakes, the pools, or water which has been stored in, certain drums. From anywhere, the virus could have entered into the water, and if we do not boil the water, or if we do not treat the water and take it in, chances are that we are taking in the virus. This virus is highly infectious because it causes the infection, causes the disease not only through food but also from person to person transmission. That is why the virus can spread very quickly, and like I said earlier, it is one of the most common cases of viral gastroenteritis across the world. Now, the symptoms are usually mild and self-limiting. In fact, not only norovirus, all viral gastroenteritis are usually self-limiting. That is, you get better, you feel better within 24 to 48 hours. When is it a concern? It's a cause for concern when it causes dehydration in very young children, or in the elderly, or in people with a weakened immune system. That is when it is a cause for concern. Otherwise, this viral infection can be treated, can be fought with by our body itself. The incubation period is 12 to 48 hours, which means once you come in contact with the virus, within 12 to 48 hours, you start showing the symptoms. And like I told earlier, it can infect any age group. All the age groups are equally susceptible to this disease. This is transmitted by the fecal-oral route. But then, like I said earlier, even person-to-person transmission is possible. Now, apart from these symptoms, which I have shown here, that is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, abdominal cramps, apart from these, there are a few less common symptoms as well, like low-grade fever, chills, headache, muscle pain or muscle ache. Those are also some symptoms which are seen occasionally amongst the people who suffer from this norovirus infection. The diagnosis is usually by seeing the symptoms. However, if we want to go for an additional diagnosis, we can detect the viral RNA in the stool sample using techniques like ELISA or even PCR. But what can we do to prevent the disease? So, the prevention occurs first and foremost by washing the hands with warm soapy water for at least 20 seconds. And when do we do this? Immediately after we use the bathroom, before we start food preparation, before we start eating or serving the food. And when it comes to oysters and clams, we need to take special care to steam them well. So these are some measures that we can take in order to prevent the norovirus infection. I hope this video was useful to all of you. Thank you for joining.